Hi, I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge and hypnosisdownloads.com, and welcome to 7 self-discipline techniques, tried and tested tips to get you more self-disciplined today. So at school we called Alan lucky, and at school we thought of him as an incredibly gifted guitarist, as he's since gone on to travel the world making a very good living of what he loves to do. I became good friends with him and soon learned the truth. He wasn't just gifted. No one had given him these abilities. So I stayed over at Alan's house one night and was awoken at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning by the melodious sound of his singing guitar. "What are you doing?" I yawned. "It's 6 a.m. I always start the day with 2 hours of practice and do 3 hours in the evening. If I didn't, I'd be hopeless," he said. And that really hit me. Alan was gifted to a certain extent, but this was a gift that had started out small, perhaps even insignificant, to which it added, built upon, and massively extended. Alan had made his own gift. That taught me something profound. Sure, there's such a thing as natural talent, but natural talent counts for little unless it's supercharged by self-discipline. Self-discipline can, to some extent, overcome lack of natural talent. It's another really important point. Exercising self-discipline can make the difference between an averagely talented person doing something amazing with their lives and a naturally talented person realizing very little of their potential. Over the years, I've come to see self-discipline as an invisible magic. You can't see it or taste or smell it, but its effects are huge. And it can transform fat into slim, sag into buff, uninformed into expert, poor into rich, and misery into happiness. It's the submerged part of the iceberg others don't see when they see your so-called genius. Yes, luck plays its role, and who doesn't need the lucky break? But self-discipline prepares you to ride that break all the way to the shore. Self-discipline makes you happier. It gives you that sense of a real achievement earned through sheer intensity of sustained focus. If you really want to succeed at a task, then self-discipline is essential. Knowing how to say no to yourself sometimes. We were wrong about Alan to assume that his guitar magic had somehow been dished out to him like a Porsche given to an indulged adolescent on reaching 18. We were totally wrong. We'd fallen for the biggest myth in the book, the myth of easy success. Celebrities have never been more visible in our culture. Famous sports people, wonderful actors and musicians are all over the media. But what we don't see are the thousands of hours of super focused work these people have put in behind the scenes. And I'm talking about real celebrities, not just manufactured ones. It's easy to feel that success comes easily, that it's just a question of self-belief. But anyone who's achieved anything has done so because they've been able to control and direct their own inner lives and actions to the extent that has enabled them to become super able at what they do. Life is not a waiting room. Life isn't some kind of waiting room in which to kill time with repetitive self-amusements. Self-discipline, like a muscle, can be developed. If we were raised in a disciplined environment, we may find it easier to be self-disciplined, but we can all develop more. Okay, so the following self-discipline tips have been gleaned from how top achievers manage and develop ability. So try them. So tip number 1, don't wait to feel like it. In some ways, exercising self-discipline is harder than ever before. We're all encouraged to feel something should entertain us before it's worthwhile. We're addicted to entertainment in our culture. We become brainwashed with the message of, don't do it unless you feel like it. Or if it feels good, do it. Yeah, the money is good, but I'm not getting up at that time. Choosing to do something or not based on whether it feels comfortable or pleasurable or the reverse is a disaster. If I waited to feel like it before exercising or working or making that tricky phone call or putting in the occasional all-nighter to meet a deadline, then I'd be much less disciplined than I am now. And believe me, that would be really bad. So don't have a wishbone where your backbone should be. Tip 2, finish what you start as a point of honour. Winston Churchill could only offer the British people blood, sweat and tears, but victory was the greater goal for the whole nation at that point? So really think about A, how much you want to achieve a greater goal, be it weight loss, a finished novel, new business, or mastering a musical instrument. B, how serious you really are. Because if you're not serious, you might as well know that. You may think you're serious and even tell others how serious you are, but only your actions really convey how genuine you are. Better you keep silent and get on with it than delude yourself and others. Focus on the long-term big outcome, and self-discipline will naturally follow because you are serving the outcome. Every morning get up, and please do that, and tell yourself, today is not over until I have done whatever you need to do that day. Literally, you can't finish that day until what you set out to do has been done. I'm not kidding. Respect yourself enough to keep your own promises to yourself. Tip 3, dump the excuses. Be honest with yourself. Do the following sound familiar? I don't want to overdo it. I'll start it when the weather gets better. Well, it's too late now to do it anyway, so I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not getting support from others, so I won't bother then. Okay, if they're not going to support me, I won't bother. I'm not going to do it at all now if you're going to take that attitude. Now, lest you think I'm holier than thou, okay, and always incredibly self-disciplined, perish the thought. I've used all these excuses in my time, and many more besides, to make my own laziness or fear hidden from myself and other people. But if you're going to make excuses, don't fall for them yourself. Don't believe your own PR. Okay. In fact, start being honest. Even if you don't do whatever it is, tell yourself, I'm not going to go for the run now because I'm too soft and lazy. Okay, and at least you're being honest. Or I've decided not to give that speech now because I'm too cowardly. I tried this. I started being 100% honest with myself as far as I could be. And you know what? Honesty can be really hard to take. Harder, in fact, than actually doing the thing you're trying to avoid. I didn't like recognizing that I could be cowardly or lazy or, small-minded. Stop mistaking excuses for credible reasons. Tip number 4, sorry, it's not negotiable. When we start to question whether we're really going to get down to some work, whether it's too late to make a start, whether we should watch the James Bond movie on TV instead, we start to leak motivation. Make self-discipline non-negotiable, at least in some areas that are important to you. I'm guessing you don't and ah about whether to clean your teeth or pull the chain in the toilet, I'm hoping. These things are unquestioned by you. They're non-negotiable. Likewise, tell yourself, I'm not going to listen to excuses or wimp-outs. This is non-negotiable. We have to say no to ourselves sometimes. Remember the words of Abraham J. Herschel. Self-respect is the fruit of discipline. The sense of dignity grows with the ability to say no to oneself. Tip 5, the pull of the external deadline. So Alan, back at school, made promises to himself, and he had enough self-respect to keep these promises. No one else put pressure on him to practice so much. But if he'd had a concert coming up, he worked even harder. External deadlines, working to deliver what others expect from you, can massively boost your drive to succeed. We're not all Allens, okay? If there's no external deadline, then make some. Maybe you do contract work, or a publisher is expecting work by a certain time, so you already have external deadlines. But if you don't, then create an internal one, such as by July the 1st, I'm going to be 12 pounds slimmer, and make it external by telling as many people as possible. If you need to write 100,000 words in 2 months, tell other people that on a certain date you're going to get back to them to tell them that you've done this. Okay, so other people are sort of holding you to account. Print off a letter of intent, sign it in front of a friend or several people, and ask them to remind you of your deadline when it arrives, and sign again that you've completed it. External deadlines work. Tip 6, ignore the naysayers. Other people can exert an immensely negative effect if we let them. Don't let them. Don't let words or even negative facial expressions deter you. Seek the advice of experts by all means and learn from the best, but never accept negativity from people who haven't themselves achieved what it is that you have set your mind on achieving. If people say that your plan is not possible or sneer at your efforts, don't be deterred by this. Rather, use it to fire your energy and strength. Proving others wrong is a greatly underrated pleasure. Tip 7, don't get hijacked by trivia. We all have a need to complete things, be it a story that we're reading or an opera that we're composing. Okay, not that I know many opera composers. If someone starts to tell you a joke or a piece of gossip, they set an expectation in your brain that you really want fulfilled. You want to complete the pattern. But if you have important things to do, things to learn, an important project, then trivial things can hijack this need for completion. Playing endless computer games or watching TV thrillers can leave you feeling satisfied because something has been completed, but nothing important in your life. This is like meeting your physical hunger by eating junk, then no longer wanting to eat real nutrition. Okay. By cutting out or down your consumption of TV, gaming, or even news reading, you leave your need for completion free to work on what you really need to be focusing on. You need to feel that things remain unfinished to keep focused and keep that need for finishing in gear, and so that you can devote valuable energy to do what you really want to be doing. Self-discipline is a fuel that gets you places. The happy byproduct of discipline are success, self-respect, and improved physical and mental health. As Alan said, I have to be true to myself, else I feel like a fraud. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe, and if you want to hear when my next video is published, hit the notification bell below. I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge and hypnosisdownloads.com, and if you'd like to try some of my personal development products, head over to hypnosisdownloads.com and take a look around. And thanks for watching.